Nothing but the truth. Hey, everybody, assalamu alaikum,
Some like
and welcome back. Welcome back. This is another edition of Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil.
and Sister Tisha, and we are back on the air tonight in an exciting gathering. So come on, gather around. Welcome back. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we're available to take your comments, questions, and be a part of this conversation because it's going to be a great conversation to be a part of.
Great
I want to
conversation.
give to you the world's most beautiful co-host. Here she is, Sister Tisha.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to another exciting episode of Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. We are so glad that you took the time to join us. We have an action-packed show. You are going to enjoy it. But before we get started, I want to remind you to help us grow this platform. All you need to do is go over to our YouTube page, Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. Like, share, and subscribe. And then go over to our Facebook pages and do the same. You'll find us on Tisha Muhammad and also on Jamil Muhammad. Those are the Facebook pages. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend. Come on back. All right.
All right. That sounds like a plan. And we thank you for helping us to reach the milestone of 1,000 YouTube subscribers. And I want to say this publicly, and I'm moved to do this tonight, Tisha, because I want to make sure that everybody understands this is a labor of love.
Yes.
It's a labor of love for each of us, for Sister Tisha and for myself. It's a labor of love and thanks to our Creator. It's the thanks to God for blessing us to have some good information to share.
Right.
It's a labor of love because we love each other. You can't help but love the lady on the other side of that screen. There she is right there. You can't help but love her. And smile pretty, honey. There she is. Yay. And so it's a labor of love for us to get here and share the information with you. And finally, it's a labor of love for our community because we know that in tumultuous times like these, in a world like this, we need a good word and an encouraging word and a righteous word. And so that's what we try to do right here on Nothing But the Truth.
Right.
So thanks for letting us share that. Now, tonight's show, should we get into it?
Let's get into it so we can have
Should we
enough
get
time.
into it? I'm ready to count it off, man. Can I count it off? I'm going to count it off.
You promised.
I did. But he's not even, Jay's not even on the screen. Okay. So no James Brown or
No.
none of that. Okay.
Don't forget to
So,
say hi to our guests. Did you see him?
oh, let me know. I can't see a single thing. I can't see anything, but you let me know what we see, and then I'm
Trish
going to
is
make sure.
here.
All right, family. Yes, indeed.
Brother Harold is here so far.
From Greensboro, North Carolina. Always good to see our brother.
That's right. Everybody else who's in, come on in. Give us a shout out while we get started. Okay,
Give
hon, go
us a
ahead.
shout out. And we welcome you to make sure that you and I are right here where we ought to be. Nothing like it. Nothing but the truth. Whew, man. Well, tonight's guest is no stranger. No stranger whatsoever. We want to get him in on time because there's a lot to talk about tonight. He is one of the original uh, participants in this program, one of our consultants, a dear brother, a dear friend of ours. And yes, he's a worldwide known motivational speaker and an educator and the owner of Voice of a Nation, which is the voiceover acting firm and voiceover firm that's known all over the world. Yes, he's a long-standing citizen of great respect in the nation. Yes, he's our brother and friend, but we are bringing him to you tonight because he is our brother and our friend. He's back with us tonight. Y'all know him. Jaye Delai is with us tonight. Bring him on, bring him on, bring him on. There he is. Hey, Jay. How are you, sir?
Man, assalamu alaikum, family.
Walaikum salam. Jay, let me just say by means of a disclaimer, we are on good behavior tonight.
I was gonna say, I was just about to say, Jamil, don't start. You're
No,
not getting me in trouble tonight.
no. We're going to jump directly into the topic at hand so
Yeah.
that the wife and the world's most beautiful co-host can, in fact, be satisfied. Okay?
Absolutely.
Jay, we know that there is a lot that you've done. First, let me ask you how you've been doing. How are things going? How's the family? Let's catch up for just a moment.
Let's just put it this way. I truly understand, when my mom I used to act a fool, and my
Mm,
mama had one line. My mama used to say, "Boy, just keep on living. Just
Mm-hmm.
keep
mm,
on living." And
Yeah.
I understand, I truly understand that now, because one day at a time, I've been living, but living in a way that, man, when God blesses you to go through the portal of death
come on.
and you survive and you come
Mm-hmm.
through that
Mm-hmm.
portal, there's a certain,
Yes.
I don't want to say urgency, but there's a certain desire to truly live and live each day to the fullest. And you get to that point to where you're going to live each day to the fullest, and you be damned if you let anybody stand in your way.
Right.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And when you determine not to let anybody stand in your way, there are some people who are irresistible forces, and they hit immovable objects and really push them over. Jay, before we get to the book, can you just share with us the force of nature that has been your career thus far? You started out as a legacy in the radio industry because of your father and his illustrious career there in radio. You became a radio personality at first, but so much more.
Hmm.
How did that metamorphosize? How did that change and bring you to where you are today?
Really, how, wow. When I look back, I'll answer your question, but to answer it, it's so funny how these things come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember I was laying in hospice, and they put me in hospice.
Okay.
And I know it may be a crazy way to answer that question, but
Wow.
I'll get to it. I was laying in hospice,
Hmm.
and there was a clock directly in front of me
Mm-hmm.
on the wall, and it's a hell of an irony when you look at time and how you value time. And I bring myself to understand time, man. Time is an amazing thing. It's gone so fast. When I look up and say, almost 40 years of doing radio,
Right.
almost 40 years, from DJing when I was young to doing all kinds of things. I when I was young, been on the comedy stage. I did the comedy stage. You remember Shirley Hemphill from
Sure.
What's Happening?
Hmm.
She came on
Mm-hmm.
my show one time,
Yeah.
and she was like, "You man, you are really funny." She was like, "Your comedic timing," and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah." She was like, "You need to be on the stage,"
Okay.
and she brought me onto the stage. And I remember the very first time I got booed,
Mm.
and it
No.
and it lit a fire. And I said, "Wait a minute, I'm a funny dude, man. I can be funny. Ain't nobody gonna boo me. I'll be damned." And it lit a fire, and it made me work on that craft of comedy.
Right.
And I love. I realize I like writing comedy. Performing is cool, but I like writing comedy. A couple of my best friends, Jay Lamont,
Hmm.
uh,
Jam and Jay.
Jam and Jay Lamont, and also growing up with nephew Tommy, Thomas Miles, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
A nut.
growing up with those guys, um, and seeing how they came around helped me, cultivate. But my love was radio. I
Mm.
loved
Mm-hmm.
radio because I saw how with music and Jamil, that was one of the things that brought us together in the beginning. When you got music and there's an Earth, Wind, and Fire from Reasons,
Mm-hmm.
or That's the Way of the World, or all the way, if you want to talk about journeys, separate ways, and when you talk about music, music can really
Right.
change the atmosphere in a room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And and that's the thing that I loved from so I stuck with radio. um God has blessed me to travel this country doing radio, um hosting shows, crowds and things of that nature. And I also was blessed to do stage plays,
Mhm.
stage
Mm-hmm.
plays. And also then I got my well, being on the comedy stage, I got my first shot at a movie because the producer came up after the show and he was like, "Man, here's two brothers," and they're like, "Man, we gotta have you." And I'm like, "Whoa, hold on, player.
Mm.
I don't
Right.
roll like that." And they were like, "No, no, no, we're movie producers." And it was late,
We gotta have you.
and they were like, "Man, we're doing this. We're shooting this movie called Jason's Lyric here in
Mm-hmm.
Houston, and I
Mm-hmm.
think he would be great for a part in Jason's Lyric." And that's how I got my first part in the motion picture industry. And so that was, it's just been a blessing. But when you look back again and you go through so much, the greatest thing that I can say I ever did was be a father.
Wow.
Was be a father. That
I
that's
can relate.
that's the greatest thing I think I've ever done.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Atisha, you have questions, honey. I don't want to step over you, but there's so much fascinating information about my brother that, hey, we could share all night.
No, I just want to. I'm enjoying learning about him too. I want to know about our other guest as well. Don't forget the other.
Ah,
I want to know. Well, introduce our other one first, and then we'll find out how you two came together, and then you can
Boy,
get to telling us about this project.
this cat.
well, and this, as Jay says, this cat
This
is
cat.
well known to many of us all around the country. A voice that is familiar, of course, from his base there in Chicago, from literally from coast to coast in many markets around the country. One of the more popular syndicated jocks and air personalities, but he's also a motivational speaker, also an author, also a voiceover
Wow.
artist, and he has influenced people all around the world. Why don't you all join me in welcoming to Nothing But the Truth, our brother, Rick Party. There he
Yeah,
is.
Yeah.
yeah, there he
Yeah,
is.
yeah, there he is. Rick, how are you tonight, my brother?
Got to
Oh, listen,
unmute.
with that introduction, I feel like walking out and coming back in. And that was so good right there. Jay, how much you paid him to say those good things about me, man?
Out of
Hey,
control.
bruh, it's all
Very,
real. It's all real.
Thank
very
you, man.
good.
I
Very good.
appreciate it.
No, we are glad and appreciate you for being here and you came right on stage right at the right time. I'll ask you the question that I asked Jay, and then we'll get into what your latest project is, because your
Okay.
latest project, I think, is really something that's going to make a lot of waves. The question on the table, Brother Rick, is your career is a matter of public record. You know people, and many more people than you know who you are. And as you
Mhm.
move around the country and go to various different places and do different things, how did you get started in radio, in broadcasting, and then branch out into the other aspects of education, entertainment, and really spreading good news everywhere you go? How did it start?
That's a great question. I was a young kid in Chicago listening to radio. I did not go to school regularly in high school because Chicago, as you know, had a very huge gang problem. So rather
Yes.
than going to school and dealing with gangs, I decided to hide out. My mother was an educator, so I'd stay in the room and not be bothered with the gang situation.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
so one day, my mother got tired of me and my mess. She kicked me out, sent me to live with my father in the projects in Cabrini Green.
Okay.
I did the same thing, didn't go to school. I decided to go one day, and they said, "Who are you?"
Wow.
And I said, "My name is Rick." And he said, "Oh, yeah, you've been let go a long time ago."
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
So from that moment, I sat home and I listened to the radio a lot, and I was making dedications to my girlfriend who was actually in school. She couldn't hear the dedications because the show was on the midday show. But I thought I was doing something worthy. Then one day, the radio personality Earl Boston who was on
Sure.
WBMX. He asked me, why am I calling him every day? And I said, I'm sick. He said, I can't tell. And I made up some fake cough. From that moment on, that man became my mentor. And that seed right there was all I needed. I needed someone to believe in me. So I kind of got myself back into school. It was kind of a jobs for youth program where we can get a high school equivalency diploma or GED, whatever they want to call it.
Yes. Yes.
I went through that situation, didn't finish that. In all honesty, that's a story I really never told much. But somehow I saw a commercial on television that said, "You could be a radio broadcaster. Come to Columbia School of Broadcasting." So I saw that commercial. I told my
Wait.
mother
How did
about
they
it.
say it? How did?
You could be a radio broadcaster. Come to Columbia School of Broadcasting. I told my mother about it, and she was like, "You're not even articulate. How you gonna be a radio broadcaster?" I said,
Wow.
"Mom, please. I don't know what articulate means, but I want to do it. I think I can do it." So
Yes.
I listened to Earl Boston every day, and listening to Earl every day, and Geno Jones on the radio, and a bunch of radio personality. Larry Jones, Funky Larry Jones. He was in Chicago. Listen to him in Chicago, and these guys. They gave me a PhD in broadcasting just by listening to them. I learned how to articulate. I learned how to enunciate, and I'd gotten so good by the time I was in the broadcasting school. I become the program director. Then I got a job at 19 in Wilmington, North Carolina from Chicago, then Macon, Georgia, then Charleston, South Carolina, then Norfolk, Virginia, then Miami, Dallas, and back home in Chicago within 4 years. And before the world knew Tom Joyner, I was the Tom Joyner was the afternoon show host before he was syndicated. So I was a kid coming in after him, but it was my dream to become a radio host. And it all started with that man, Earl Boston, picking up the phone and talking to me. And my mother telling me what I couldn't do, which was reverse psychology. Now, and beyond, with all of that, I dealt with dyslexia, ADD, a stutter from nervousness, the lack of comprehension, and so much more. And since then, I've gone on to become the voice of BET, ESPN. Right, and you hear me now. Jay and I, we've voiced radio stations all around the world. And when people, ask me who I am, other than the child of God and Miller's and Jimmy's son, I say, before you put all these titles on me, know that I am a kid who stuttered, who had dyslexia, who had a learning disability, all of these things. So before you put these things on me, this is who I am. And through all of that, those people helping me, that's how I learned to serve and just and pick my family. I mean, this man right here, Jay Delay, he has been he has been so just good to me as a brother. I love him. And Jay, don't you do it. I see your eyes.
No. And Jay,
Don't
your
you
eyes
do it,
do
man.
have that. They have that glaze, Jay. Don't let it
Yeah.
happen. And
Yeah.
we have to say this. You're listening to and viewing, of course, watching Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. Tonight's guests know each other and we know them.
Yes.
They are precious parts of the soundtrack of our lives. Yes, from airwave to airwave, from coast to coast. It's Rick Party and Jay Delay together in the same place at the same time and doing something really good tonight. Brothers, and teacher, I got one more question. I promise
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to stand down. But this is something very important because each of you mentioned in your process story, in your testimony, you mentioned adversity, you mentioned difficulty, you mentioned doubters, and all of those things, adversity, difficulty, doubters, could have derailed the train of your success, but you didn't allow it.
Come on.
And so tonight we want to talk a little bit more about your latest project and spend some time unpacking it because I believe it'll make a major difference in the lives of people that you haven't even met yet, brothers. Tisha, it will make a major difference in the lives of people in our family and in the lives of people who live at our house.
Come on.
Okay? Because it is brotherhood and it is manhood and it is what is being called iron sharpens iron. Brothers, I don't know who wants to take the question first, but tell us about this project, please, and how it's going to be splashing into Black America and the world.
I'm gonna let Jay take that part, but let me say this really quick: how we got there.
Oh, that was a question. Yes, come on.
So
Yes, sir.
my brother was going through some hardship, Jay
Okay.
Delay, and
Yes, sir. Take your time.
I knew he needed me because there's some times in my life where I needed Jay, and Jay was always there for me. And when he told me he had fallen sick, during the pandemic, I was stuck in the house. I didn't want to go anywhere. I had to just reevaluate my life. I had to, get back down to the basics and figure out who I was, because I knew that life, tomorrow wasn't promised. I'd seen so many people pass away.
Yes.
And when my brother told me he was sick, I just had to go see him. And when I did, it warmed my heart. And Jay knows, and everyone knows that Rick don't go outside. I just came back from a trip, and my cousin said to me, "Who hit you over the head and packed you in the bag to take you outside?" But to see Jay, it was nothing but love. And Jay and I sat there, and Jay was like, "Well, let me straighten up this and let me do this now." Jay's been going through some hard times, and maybe Jay won't talk about it, but I won't get too much in that. But I said, Jay, I'll take the couch, man. I just want to be in your presence.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
all I want. That's all I want to do. And I wanted to just kind of record a podcast with him. And we weren't exactly set up for that. So I said, Jay, would you allow me to just record the audio? He said, sure, brother. And we talked for an hour. And
Yes.
just as I'm pouring all these things onto you, I poured it on the Jay. And I said, Jay, I wouldn't be as far if it weren't for you. You
Come
have
on.
been an inspiration in my life. We have been iron sharpening iron. And
Yes.
after recording Jay, I used technology through Chat GPT, and I uploaded our voices up and had it analyze the conversation. And I said, I want to write a book about this conversation. I don't know what we want to call it, but I know what I want it to be about. I want it to be about brotherhood. I want it to be about love, because we don't see enough of that amongst Black men. And
Correct.
Jay Delay will take it from here.
Come on, Jay.
You know that when Rick came to see me, one thing that I learned through the whole process, and I said I wasn't going to do this.
Yes,
Take
sir.
your time, Jay. Take your time, Jay.
When God
Come on, Jay.
when the creator allows you to see true love
Yes.
and not those fans or those that listen to you, well, one day you're on the radio, one day you're gone, but I'm talking about a true brother.
Yes, sir.
Rick called me one day, hey man, I'm on my way. And you know how many people I've heard say that, I'm on my way. I'm coming to see you. Okay, if I see him, I see him. If I don't, I don't. Rick did just that, and he sat down with me, and I was like, let me, you know, those that know, I'm not. I used to be ashamed, but I'm not anymore. I lost the ability to walk, and in a wheelchair for now. As I learn how to walk again, I'm trying to straighten up the place and everything. And Rick's like, dude, dude, I don't care about all that.
Right.
I came for you to sit
That's right.
down, to love on you. And I was so unused to that.
Come on.
And like he said, we talked for an hour. And Rick told me things that y'all, you know how they say, give a brother his flowers while he yet lives?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir.
Here are two brothers that were at the top of their games. People all over the world know you, but they don't know you.
Right.
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 People that you've been assigned city by city to entertain.
Come on.
That's your job. You fall in love with it and you get used to it and it becomes you. And sometimes you lose yourself. And I really believe, as Rick and I sat down, Rick, when you told me things, brother, and I'm being as authentic as I can, Rick and I are going on a series of podcasts, a series of shows nationwide, other friends of ours to talk about this. But this is the first one. I want y'all to know this is the first one.
Praise.
But
We
Rick,
are so honored.
We are honored.
When you told me, Rick, that day, one thing that he told me really changed everything for me. He told me I helped him be a better father. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I saw what you did, Jay. I saw what you did every single day. I saw what you did with your own children. You somehow, managed a radio career, a voiceover career, being a husband at the time, and even just kind of backing away from it for a bit just to homeschool your children. The times you spent with Khalil in baseball. I mean, I don't know people who did that.
Yes.
And I love my fathers. And although we're the same age, you showed me, how a man should be, with his family and his kids. And that was a beautiful thing with me. So I'm a father of 7. I raised 4 of my boys, and my children have always been in my life, but I had the opportunity to really raise my daughter, who's now 15, and Jay saw that from the beginning.
Yes.
And when you're young, you do dumb things, or you want to do things, and Jay was always there to say, brother, slow down.
Right. Right.
You don't know the things that you think they don't see, they see. And even if they don't physically see, they see it through your actions, because maybe you're not showing it because you want to do something else outside of the house. Just little things like that. He said, those were little mustard seeds that would really just flourish into something amazing. And those are the kind of things that I share with so many people. This right here, it's my brother, man. I love this man. And because of him, I'm just you're a tree, and I'm just another branch on your tree, brother.
Nothing like hearing it straight from the source. You're actually watching Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. We've reached the bottom of the hour, but fear not. As we come out of break, there is much more with Jay Delay and Rick Party. Not just stars in their own rights, but brothers, friends, and honoring us with their first appearance on a national tour right here on Nothing But the Truth. We'll be back after these brief messages.
Assalamu alaikum.
What are we saying? What are we doing? Woo! Assalamu alaikum, family. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Assalamu alaikum.
We want to thank you for taking the time to tune into Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil
And Sister Tisha. We thank you for every Thursday night joining us for appointment viewing. 8 p.m. Not 8 a.m.
Yeah, I'm going to come in on the PM.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Thursday nights by YouTube, by Facebook, by Instagram, by all the other means by which we can be seen. But we thank you, because without you, as a matter of fact, here the Manhattans, there's no me without
Why does
you.
he always do that? Assalamu alaikum.
There's no me.
You didn't say assalamu alaikum. You didn't say assalamu alaikum.
Oh, assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. Yeah, there may be a musical tour in the offing. You just heard the bars. Okay, you heard the bars.
Listen,
And
brother, I
Rick-
don't know you. I love you, but
Right. It's called brotherly love.
It's called brotherly.
you bet.
love. Listen,
Notice I didn't say nothing.
no, I know you didn't say anything, Jay, because we are on our best behavior tonight.
Absolutely.
You guys are doing great. I have to let you know.
Yeah,
Oh, thank
all
you.
of the old shtick from the Jay Delay morning show with Brother Jamil.
Yeah. Don't even bring it up. Let's keep going. We've got so much to get into.
Well, we're doing
Iron
it.
sharpens iron.
Yes,
Yeah.
iron
Yes.
sharpens iron. That's the title of the book that is soon to hit bookshelves and booksellers everywhere around the world. Tell us, brothers, you gave us the background, but how is the book itself coming and how is it going to be rolled out? This is exciting.
You know, I'll say this, and Rick, if you don't mind,
no, please. It's on you.
It's, this is an opportunity, y'all, when you have so much in your soul that you gotta get out. And you always tell yourself, like one chapter in the book, I'll tell you, praying with one eye open.
Mm.
Praying with one eye open. Lord,
Right.
I hope you'll bless me.
Mm.
I think you'll bless me. Lord, that level in life where men go through, we hope God blesses us. We
Right.
think God may bless us. I know there's a higher being somewhere, and I feel him working through me.
Mm.
But when you go from that hope
To that.
until belief enters your heart,
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
that's a hell of a process.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when you hope, do unto others as you'll have them do unto you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to treat people, and I hope one day they see it. I hope one day they see it. I didn't have to do that. With Rick, I remember a time I'd come to Chicago for Savior's Day. And that brother right there would let me come up to WGCI. I would want to always be in Chicago radio. That was my goal. He was there, but he would let me fulfill a lifelong goal to go up there and just say 107.5 WGCI.
WGC dot that I. Dot
Dot
that
that
I.
I. We played the hits.
Okay.
And Rick would let me come up there and sit with him on the show. You couldn't tell me nothing.
Right.
I was on GCI. And Rick allowed that and helped me to do that. And that was one of the things in my life. I hoped I could do it. I know I got the skills and the talent. But now in my life,
Mm-hmm.
coming through everything I came through, Lord, when belief enters that heart, and now I know. And another thing that men, we have to do, and brothers, we on here, and sisters, you have to as well.
Come on.
And every man in your life got to fight the devil.
That's right.
But the devil, a wise man once told me, once you defeat the devil inside,
Mm.
you ain't got to worry about the one outside.
Hmm.
And once you face that devil within you, all your stuff, your ego, everything that you got to face within you that could possibly bring you down
Mm.
or make you become your own challenge, the
Yes.
changes that you make, Lord, the changes that you grow into. And then when you have a brother at your side
Come on.
that can tell you the truth of yourself. He ain't telling you the truth to bring you down, or he hating on me, or like these young cats say, oh, he my ops. No,
No.
he's saying that to help me destroy the nigga within.
Right.
Mm. Now, Jay, that kind of wisdom is the thing that I think lights up this project and is really lighting up the switchboard. And Sister Tisha is going to take us into some questions from the chat and the comments from the chat in just a moment. But I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to ask a question about the practicality. And I don't know if direct this to you, Rick, or to Jay. But the question is, you mentioned that you use technology to start the ball rolling on this project. How did that technology help and amplify what you do? And especially for those of us who are maybe generationally challenged, who see AI as like, wait a minute, what's this newfound contraption you got over here, buddy? You know, we want to make sure that we understand how this aided the creative process and didn't dampen it. Does that question make sense?
No, absolutely.
I'm gonna let the man that lit my soul on fire answer that question.
Yes,
So
sir.
when I talk about AI and chat GPT particularly, I always talk about how mixers had a problem with the electronic uh, turntables, and they said,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's going to be wax. We're not going to do this electronic stuff. 2 days later, they were all with electronics. That's the same way the typewriter, saw its fate when the computer entered. And then they had all these coders from all around the world, going to these technology schools, learning how, teaching the computer how to code.
Right.
And we're talking about maybe what, 50 years of,
Mm.
Hmm.
of the computer. And so when I think about the computer, I think about every keystroke into the computer, everything that we type, everything that we say, everything that we draw, we
Right.
paint, we generate. We have been, all of us, we have been teaching the computer how to do things we do,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it can somewhat kind of guess what we're going to say. You ever notice, like, when you're typing and
Right.
the next word just populates?
Suggested
Yes.
word. Yes.
Hmm.
Exactly. That's all part of AI. And it,
Mm.
it kind of it kind of figures us out. And it had billions of people to teach it. So when you think about Chat GPT is just a chat bot, and you share an idea and you ask it something and it teaches you that. But the more you again, you're teaching it, you're telling it about yourself. Now it's learning more about you. It's remembering everything that you shared with it. And sometimes people, when you're talking on your phones or you're recording your voice, it's all on the computer. Everything we do on the computer has a name.
Hmm.
Draw has a name. Talk has a name. It all has a code. So when you do this, we're teaching it so much now that the bad part about it is telling it too much personal stuff about yourself.
Oh
Because
wow.
now when you're telling it too much personal stuff about yourself, now it knows everything about you and you don't want it to know.
Right.
So I use it to my good when I had a conversation with Jay, knowing that it would understand me, because for the last 2 years, I purposely told it the things that I wanted to share with it,
Wow.
about me and the things I think.
Hmm.
So when I said, "Hey, chat," this is a conversation with me and my brother Jay Delay. I've known Jay for a few decades. I love him. I've come to see him here in Houston from Georgia. We spent some time, and this is about an hour-long conversation. I want you to analyze this. I want you to dissect this.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to do a podcast. I think I want to write a book. What are your thoughts? What are your suggestions? Then it just started populating all these answers. Well, based on what I know about you, Rick, you like to serve, you like people, you give enough for yourself, and you don't do anything for yourself. And it just started telling me all these things about me that I've shared with it. And then it gave me an idea, gave me the book. And I said, you know what? Oh, I like this. Then I said, okay, now I want you to give me chapters based on this hour-long conversation and what you know about us. Then it started giving me chapters. It said, well, you and Jay talked about fatherhood. When you said da 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 on this conversation, I think you should start that chapter with a quote, and then we'll write a chapter from there. And I said, I like that. In fact, Muhammad Ali had a book called Soul of a Butterfly. And that's
Yeah.
the first book that I really read through. And I love the book. And that straightened me out too. And I said, look up that book, because I wanted to feel like that. And from there, when I showed Jay this, oh man, Jay's mind just lit up. Now this man, Jay will walk again. But I think that day when Jay found out about AI and what AI can do, Jay was doing cartwheels.
Literally,
it
literally.
Uh-huh.
and that's how it really came to life. I mean, through the assistance of Chat GPT with AI. But
Wow.
but here's the beauty. There's a thing about when it comes to Chat GPT. You don't want it to do the work for you. You
Right.
want it to tell it how, what you do or how you speak. And even when I speak a certain way, I'll say analyze the way that I speak. If I don't use words like resilient or tapestry, I don't use big words like that. I use words that people can understand. And I tell chat this.
Speak their
So when
language and
chat
it's
writes for me, it speaks the way I would speak. And I've spoken to it so much about my love for people, my love for human fatherhood, my children. It knows my heart. And the one thing y'all do, if y'all don't chat GPT, you want to have a little fun, say chat GPT, roast me, be brutally honest. And he's in chat's gonna break your heart.
It will.
Whoa.
yeah,
Whoa.
absolutely. It,
Well,
it really will. It'll
Yeah.
trip you out. But in saying that, I will say this: those that are afraid, and I've shown just since Rick came and sat with me, I can't tell you how many people I've shown and talked about AI, because we have been taught for the past few decades about what? Supreme wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Nothing can beat this computer here.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
True.
Nothing,
Nothing
nothing.
can beat this computer here. But if they say we only use 8% of our brains, if there's something that will accentuate that 8% and replicate it and give you another 8%,
Mm-hmm.
would you want it?
Right. Why would you
You,
not?
you know what? I look
It's
at it like this, Jay. If there's 8% of the brain that's being used, and the 8% of the brain is the irreplaceable human, divinely ordained intelligence that is not artificial, but it is natural. It's like an airliner, a big jet airliner on United or American or any of the other
Mhm.
carriers. The pilot's bay is a very small portion of the actual area on board the aircraft, but it is
Absolutely.
from that place that the aircraft takes its direction. And
The
all of the
whole,
seating and all the cargo holds and all of the flight attendant stations are based around the head of the aircraft. And that's what I tend to think you might be saying here. Am I reading you right?
dear brother, when I tell you, Rick took our conversation, and what it did was give both of us, let me tell you, and I shared this with Rick. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "What about our unity? Our unity is stronger than an atomic bomb."
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear that, but you can't really relate to that until Rick goes in his own direction all over the world and the nation doing his, I do mine. And then when we sat down together, there was such an energy, such a power. And our unity together and our creativity, when chat will tell you, y'all talked about fatherhood, and it reminds you, Jay, you did this and this and this with Khalil and Anissa
Mm-hmm.
and Taylor. Well, Rick, you did this. Have you thought about talking about this, or that?
Wow.
Damn.
Right. Right.
Well, wait a
Right.
minute. Well, instead of this, or that, let's talk about this, and that.
And that
That.
and
Yeah.
that's where this kind of a program comes in. Let me thank those of you who are tuned in. I want to keep the comment on the screen from Dr. Dion Mahaffey. She mentions that she's a former software developer, and she talks about AI and its importance in the understanding of how things will be moving into the future. AI is not replacing human creativity, it's extending it. The real power lies in how we guide it. We also see a comment there from Sister Katrina Muhammad, last week's guest on the program, actually,
Yes.
commenting from the city of Chicago, there along the sandy shores of Lake Michigan. She talks about how the AI that we're looking at exists because of the permission of the creator, right? And she talks about us using it to advance what it is that we do in terms of putting forward our own ideas and commentary. So use the tech that Allah has allowed to exist for the better. Now, I promise you, gentlemen, that the last portion of this program has to be dedicated to any question that may come from the mind of the beautiful lady seated in the upper right hand quadrant of your screen.
Come on.
That's Sister Tisha Muhammad. And we only have about another 6 minutes,
It's
six,
just
7 minutes to go into what it is we need to do. Sister Tisha, do you have a question for these great giants? And
I
I know
do.
we're going to ask them to do part two because Cornbread already read in. He wants a part two.
He
So
doesn't play. So we talked about pretty much what inspired you, how we came about getting to writing this book. But I want to know, do you feel like this book has a certain target audience? Is there a certain age group or just group of people that you're trying to reach, or is this for everyone? Is it just for men? Can women benefit for it? Who are you trying to reach with this book?
Let me say this: when you pick up our book and you read this book, it is so absolutely real
Yes.
from the heart of two men that have, who some would say, have had everything and been damn near everywhere.
Come on.
mhm.
We've had everything and been damn near everywhere, and I've lost it from praying to God for a change in my life. However, I didn't know the change was going to mean me. I
Wow.
didn't know the change was going to be losing a wife to breast cancer.
Yes.
I didn't know the change was going to be to where your children looked at you and said, Dad, I'm going to lose you too.
Mm.
I didn't know that God will allow us to be so real. And I don't care. I don't give a damn what people. I really don't care what people think about me at this stage of my life.
Come
If
on.
you don't have a heaven to ascend me to, or
Right.
a hell to drag me down into,
Right.
You can leave me be.
I'm not worried about you. So I put it out there because Rick and I have had a focus group. We got a focus group, a group of our friends, a group of people that I sit with Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in dialysis,
Mm-hmm.
and I let these brothers read it. And when I see real tears come from their eyes,
Yes.
when a man, a black man at that, can sit there and tell me, brother, you said things that I've been wanting to say that I ain't never been able to say or I couldn't say out in public.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
women, listen to me, sisters.
Mm.
This book will give you a greater insight on men.
That's
Okay.
right.
It will give you a greater insight on the black man. Oh, they don't feel. Oh, he don't talk to me. You know, there's another chapter in the book that we talk about the two most feared words from a black man. Do you know what the worst two words for us is?
Teach.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
That masks a whole lot. That masks a whole lot. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
we are tonight wrapping up a conversation with two giants in the realm of communication. There's no way we can fit it all into just 1 hour, but I hope that you will check with your teams respectively, Jay and Rick, and I hope you'll consider coming back. I want to welcome to the conversation, of course, our main man from right here in Michigan, Southeast Michigan, Kenny Smooth. He said, "What up, Doe?"
What
And
up,
so
though?
whenever you see
Yeah.
"What up, Doe," you know that's our family from the D. Welcome to all of you who are joining us tonight. Brothers and sisters, this has been the first of what we hope to be a number of conversations because, brothers, our doors open to you. Our
Yeah.
door is open to you. Rick, if you and I can get together, and we might be able to bring Jay all the time if we can keep the right amount of red beans and rice in the pot.
He loves it.
If we keep enough red bean and rice for Jay, he will come by and
There it
he'll
is.
have the conversations that we need to have. But Tisha, I promised I would let you wrap up, hun, and then we'll get a final word from our guests and we'll be dismissed. In the chat, everybody, if you have information that you need to leave in the chat, leave it. We want to make sure we can contact you, stay in touch with you. But I'm going to turn it over again to Sister Tisha.
Before we go, guys, is there? We're getting the question asked several times. How can everyone receive the book? Where can they go to purchase it? And is there a digital copy? Is the book ready now, or is this still a project that you guys are working on?
The book is it's still a project that we're working on. We could have released it sooner, but as we learn more things about ourselves and
Mhm.
our children, we're just doing a little the fine tuning.
Okay.
But for now, we'll put it on our social medias. I'll have it on my website at rickparty.com, and Jay, you'll have it on a link as well, maybe on your social medias or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
watch
right.
our social medias. To be totally honest, the book was completely done.
Yeah.
And we had thumbs up, and they said the book, we're anal. We have to be honest. We're anal. Be real with
We
each other.
really are. We really are.
What happened? People were telling us, man, this is a good book. This is
Yes.
a good book. And that was the key word that kept coming up. Good.
Good book.
I'll
Yeah.
be damned. I'm not living for good anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
If I
Hmm.
can't be phenomenal,
Hmm.
I'll be damned.
Oh wow.
Well, before you get damned, because we don't
Okay.
want that. We don't want that. We want you to go ahead and be phenomenal. Put the finishing touches as much as you need to do, brothers. We are an audience, and we, as I said earlier, have an open door for you to return here at any time that's convenient for you. A couple of messages from the chat, and then we'll wrap up with Teacher's commentary, and we'll be back. Stay on the line after the program goes off, brothers, because we want to keep you for just a few moments for a postmortem. Let me just also say, we thank you all. Sister Katrina says, remember relationship talks, you guys have to combine. I agree with that. Rockwell Radio Show says, excellent program tonight. We appreciate the commentary and unity. And Jay, Brother Taiwan said he love you. He got to tell you he love you. From Fort Worth, Texas, our brother says he loves you. And so, Rick, I know we're about to dot some I's and do some other
Yes.
things that we got to do. And all over the country, if you could tell us how much do we have time, Tisha, just for about 30 seconds for the brothers to tell us where we can hear them next?
Yes. Let them They have the
Okay, Rick.
floor.
Well,
Rick,
if,
where can
if
we hear you? How can we tune into you and make sure we hear your programming?
if you're in Chicago or the Odyssey or iHeart app, you can go
Mm-hmm.
to 1043 Jams. My show's a midday show. We play some old school hip hop and stuff like that. If you like that stuff.
And we
But
do.
for the most part, I tell you what, I kind of bounce around on social media on Rick Party's notebook. That is my Instagram and my Facebook. And I try to share messages with people that matter. Right. I try to
Gotcha.
use my social space for a purpose. But
Gotcha.
anything that I'm doing, you can just go to rickparty.com and it'll link you to all things me.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. That's
True.
it.
True that.
Jay, any final
All right.
words?
Very good, Jay. How can we get in touch with you?
The mess.
Man, I ain't concerned about none of y'all, man. I don't want to hear from them. I'm just playing.
Just call me. You know how to get in touch with me.
Just call
Hey,
me. See,
just call me.
But that wasn't me, Tisha. That was Jay. You saw that was Jay. I was cool, and
No,
Jay
I'm
went on
just
to do
kidding.
his
Y'all
thing.
can always hit me
I missed
Facebook,
y'all's show though. Y'all show was funny.
Facebook or IG. You can hit me at Jaye Delai. But other than that, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
You'll hear from me when you hear from me.
Jay, I would like to just sign off by thanking you all for being here tonight. I want to thank the technical proficiency of the sister that you see on the screen right now. Sister Tisha's pretty good at all this stuff, pulling it together. We thank you so much for that, hon. And I want to thank my brothers for making this the first of what we hope to be a number of visits back home to Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. And we'll be right back here next week, same time, same bat channel. And we want to make sure we get some things done. Isn't that right, Bo Sleepers? Isn't that right?
Doggone right, baby. Let me tell you something.
You
Country is
know,
corn, sweetheart. We waited to
that's,
the end of the show and we couldn't help it.
we
I'm
couldn't help
telling
it.
you,
Now,
When it's
you
time
all
to
in
act
Texas
some
are doing
clues out
fine.
here. Okay,
And we
now.
love you up in Kentucky as well. Yes, we
baby,
do.
we love you down in Texas. And I tell you what, baby, you might be as tall as a boll weevil, but I love you just the same.
With y'all. Retarded. Assalamu alaikum,
Hey,
family. Stay fly.
Thank you for having us. God bless you.
Thank
Love
you. God
y'all.
bless you both, brothers. Peace.
Thank
Bless
you.
you. Bye bye.